endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to hit the pick. Touchdown! Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond and Christian Giordani. Bet on us to make you a better bettor.
What?
It's time to hit the pick.
Welcome, everyone, to Hit the Pick. I'm Christian Giordani. Alongside with me, we have Loud Esmond. And if you head over to hitthepick.com, we have an all-in package. Only $25 for any capper for 30 days. That is hitthepick.com. Loud, how you doing today?
I am doing good. One of my travel weeks, I was off doing some law enforcement instruction this week in Upper Washington State, right near the Canadian border, in a place called Blaine, Washington, which actually parts of Blaine, Washington are actually above the border with Canada. It's kind of weird. It's like you have to get off I-5 and then you go north even further. And it's kind of cut out around the border. It's interesting the way that it's laid out. But the lot of excitement for me. The UFL playoffs are Sunday, of course. We are closing in on the NFL preseason. We're less than 2 months away from that, about 6 weeks from the NFL preseason. Well, about 7 weeks from the NFL preseason. And then, of course, we just had the start of the CFL. The Canadian Football League has kicked off, and you can catch the Canadian Football League games on the CBS Sports app. Also, some of them are airing on the Paramount Plus network as well. So tomorrow, you will actually be able to catch a 7 p.m. night game, the Edmonton Elks at the BC Lions, and that will be at Paramount Plus and CBSS. And if you are a football junkie, there's going to be a regular Thursday night football game on CBS SN for Canadian football, and then they're airing a smattering of games on Saturdays and Sundays as well. So if you got to get your football on, you've got 2 more weeks of the UFL conference championships this week, and then the championship game next Sunday. And then the Canadian Football League has kicked off, and you can catch their games, like I said, on the CBS Sports app, and apparently sometimes on Paramount Plus as well. So there's sort of if you absolutely need an injection of football, those are your options between now and July 31st, when you have the Hall of Fame game, which is the first NFL preseason game. So that's coming up July 31st.
Yeah, a lot of football coming around. We have the conference championship coming up this Sunday, and your best bets are probably going to be great. First, we got Michigan Panthers versus the Birmingham Stallions. Loud, what do you got on that?
Okay, so the Michigan Panthers have never beaten the Stallions. They're 0-6 against them, and they lost to them just a couple of weeks ago. This was a fairly fiercely contested game, even though the playoffs had already been decided and they knew they would be playing each other in this game tomorrow. I suspect it surprised me because they kept all the starters in the whole game, both teams. And I suspect that's because Stallions coach Skip Holtz wanted to maintain that psychological edge over the Panthers having just owned them for the breadth of the relaunch of the USFL and now the UFL. My best bet in this game is over 46.5. Both teams have solid offenses. The last time they played each other, the total hit 48. And that was in that game which, really the playoffs had already been decided. So I expect even more scoring in this playoff game. The scores in playoff games tend to go higher because the Zebras kind of take a let-them-play approach to the playoffs, which is what they should do. I don't want to see flags deciding championship games. Also, neither team will be holding anything back when calling their best plays and putting the pedal to the floor on the offense. The playoff game between these two teams last year ended in a 49-point game, and you had the Panthers really struggling to score. They only scored 18 points in that game. Regarding the spread in this one, I don't see any reason to go on the spread either way. It's -1.5. I'm just on the Stallions to win, -120. They've got the Panthers number, huge psychological edge going into this game. And, I faded the Stallions all season long. They were the opening week favorite to win the championship. They went through 4 quarterbacks on the season. But since Jamar Smith came out of retirement, where he was working at Dunkin' Donuts, okay, no joke, Christian. The quarterback was working at Dunkin' Donuts a month ago. Since he's come back, now he played quarterback for Holtz for this team for 3 years, and he was also Holtz's quarterback for 4 years in college. So they know each other really well. Ever since he came back, they've started to look like a team that led the league in scoring the past couple of years. Like I said, I was off their bandwagon to repeat as champions all season, but I'm giving the edge in this game because of Jamar Smith's play. And a couple of prop bets. I like the odds of +180 for an anytime score for Smith, who doesn't mind getting some contact at the goal line and sacrificing his body to hit pay dirt. So over 46.5, Jamar Smith, anytime touchdown, and Stallions to win.
All right. Then we got the DC Defenders versus the St. Louis Battlehawks, same that day. Who do you got in this game, Loud?
So this game goes off at 3 p.m. West, 6 East. Battlehawks -148 on the money line. Defenders +124. Battlehawks -2.5 on the spread, -115. Defenders +2.5, -105. The over/under 46.5. Now the DC offense has been led by MVP quarterback Jordan Ta'amu, with healthy contributions by receiver Chris Rowland, the lead running back Deion Jackson. Now the strength of defenders in the past has been their defense, but it has not been great this year. They have a blitz-heavy scheme. They get burned a lot. If they keep bringing these blitz-heavy packages, I think Max Duggan at quarterback for the Battlehawks will have a big day running on them from the pocket. The Battlehawks defense is underrated, and if Pita Tuamanapunu, bless me, can play well from his defensive end spot on Sunday, which he has all season, he can wreak havoc on the defender's offense, and I believe he'll get him some sacks on Sunday and then get him some racks of ribs after the game. The Battlehawks, in addition to Duggan running the ball, have a very good running game, a couple of great running backs. They have one of the best receivers in the league in Hakeem Butler, who is a matchup nightmare. They also have one of the best place kickers in the league in Rodrigo Blankenship. He can hit like an operator. In other words, he can dial it up from long distance. Both of these teams are going to score in this game. I like the over 46.5 as my best bet in this one. This game could go either way, as the Defenders have the league MVP at quarterback. And although he's capable, I would never call Max Duggan a prolific passer. Hence, this comes down to a couple of factors for me. First, this is a home game for the Battlehawks, and they have the best home field advantage in the league. Second, I think the Defenders' aggressive defensive approach will give up a couple of big plays, and that's going to be the difference in this game. I'm going to take the Battlehawks and lay the -2.5. A couple of prop bets I like. Max Duggan, anytime TD, -125. Hakeem Butler, anytime TD at -105. Over 46.5, -2.5 for the Battlehawks. Max Duggan, anytime TD. Hakeem Butler, anytime TD. And there is your conference championship betting report for the UFL from your very own harmless little fuzzball, Loud Esmond.
Loud, who do you got winning the whole enchilada?
Stallions.
Well, if you agree with Loud, you can go +235 on the Stallions winning the whole thing.
Yeah, like I said, I was off their bandwagon all season, But since Jamar Smith has come back at quarterback, they have exploded offense. It was bad quarterback play that was holding them back all season long. So they've got that right now, and now it's like, okay, well, Katie bar the door because they're gonna be a tough out, and they can play defense. I like the Battlehawks with Max Duggan, but Duggan is just not a great passer. He's just not a great passer. And he's kind of a one-trick pony when it comes to playing quarterback in terms of running the ball a lot. And I think Skip Holtz will be smart enough to get their defense to basically say, look, go ahead and drop zone against him and don't rush really hard. Maintain your lanes and just don't let him get loose. And if they just don't let Duggan out of the pocket and running all over the place on him, I don't think he can beat him throwing the ball. He's kind of like Lamar Jackson in that way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Lamar Jackson, in his conference, a new quarterback has been signed. The Pittsburgh Steelers win the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
Is that a sweepstakes you want to win?
No,
I'm just saying.
In the year 2025, no. If you asked me maybe a decade ago, yes, enthusiastically.
What is it about the Green Bay Packers quarterbacks that they don't know when their career is over? You know, I mean, like Brett Favre did the same damn thing. It's like, okay, dude, it's over. It's over. Goodbye. It's over. And teams kept bringing him in. And, of course, famously, who brought in Favre? Jets, Jets. Oh, man. Look, Aaron Rodgers is not going to make the difference for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry. And Christian, who is he throwing the ball to?
You know, DK
Metcalf now.
DK Metcalf, they still have DK Metcalf. They're probably going to go get Alan Lazard, his buddy. But, yeah, there's not a clear number 2 on that team.
Yeah, and so you're just going to everybody cover Metcalf, and good luck with that.
And you lost Harris. You lost Najee Harris, too.
Yeah, and Najee Harris, actually, the Chargers are a team I really want to talk about. So we'll get to that. But, okay, does Aaron Rodgers make the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let's look at the Steelers division. Baltimore Ravens.
Super Bowl contender.
They're going to win the division.
Yes.
Cincinnati Bengals are always going to be dangerous with Joe Burrow and those 3 receivers and the running back that they picked up. But off the top of my head, I can't remember. But they improved their running game too. The thing that worries me about Cincinnati is I'm afraid Joe Burrow is going to be the next Derek Carr, an excellent quarterback who a lot of people underrate and whose organization completely effed his career. Because the Bengals, they're cheap. What are they doing? They've got one of the best defensive ends who led the league in sacks last year, and they haven't re-signed him yet.
No.
What are you doing?
They're struggling to make things work with Trey Henderson, and I think he's going to walk inevitably. And I think it goes to another AFC contender as well, maybe Buffalo. But besides the point, you know, if Joe Burrow had a top 20 offense, I think he could win the whole thing, and Cincinnati can't even provide him that.
No, it's look, I think the Bengals scored among the highest number of points in the league.
They were first in points scored and
still lost.
32nd.
In
points allowed, yes.
That is Derek Carr's career with the Raiders in a nutshell. Derek Carr and the Raiders, when he played for them, he didn't have a top 20 defense the entire time he played for the Raiders. Never. And, you know, I mean, it's just like, and so it comes down back to me, and I've said this on the show a lot. Football is the ultimate team game. The organization has to have it right. The coaching has to have it right. The trenches, offensive and defensive line have to have it right. The scheme has to have it right. You've got to have quality players at the skill positions. And then you put the quarterback in and they can succeed. But if you don't have all of that else, a quarterback, it's not the NBA. You can't have 3 good players and compete for a championship, right?
Yeah.
And also, who cares what the scheme is? Just go out there and post up threes. It's the NFL. It's so hard. And by the way, speaking of Derek Carr, have you ever seen a player make a classier move than he did in retiring? You know, all he had to do was opt to get the surgery, and they would have had to pay him $30 million to sit on the sidelines for the entire season because he would have been out for the season.
No, and you know, that is a very big class act on Derek Carr, and I don't think anyone questions his character. He's always been that in his 10-year career as a vet in the NFL. But also, yeah, I don't think he wants to go through another surgery as well at 33 years of age. It was in best in both teams' interest. But
Dude, I'm sorry. For $30 million, you can remove my arm. I mean, just take the whole arm and give me.
For some people, it's different. For some people, but going back to Aaron Rodgers is something I do want to bring up. His contract hasn't been finalized yet, but it's a 1 year and a little bit north of $20 million. That makes him.
What are you doing?
That makes him the 6th highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Oh my God!
This next season, he's getting paid more money.
So dumb.
Than Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Kenny Pickett. Only Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, Tua, Geno Smith, Lamar Jackson are the only players getting paid.
I just got to say, can I have Kirk Cousins' agent, please?
Oh, please.
God.
Put that man in the Hall of Fame.
He is the top agent of all time. Sorry. Yes. No, there's no competition. It's not close.
You got Cole Khaki Pats, Kirk Cousins.
He's the GOAT of agents, whoever that guy is. The agent GOAT.
But $20 million for Aaron Rodgers.
No. I'm sorry, just no. It's just, that's crazy.
At 41. Yeah.
Can I give you my doomed quarterbacks list?
Yes.
These are the doomed quarterbacks. Jackson Dart is screwed. Jackson Dart was picked by the New York Giants.
Yep. The
New York Giants are something like 29 or 31, depending on where you look on the power rankings, depending on whose power rankings you're looking at. Can you think of the name of who are the best 3 offensive players on the New York Giants?
Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, and
okay, Malik Neighbors is in his 2nd year.
Yep.
And Darius Slay plays what position?
Wide receiver.
And who's their running back?
Not Saquon, that's for sure.
Not Saquon Barkley.
Singletary, Devin Singletary.
Never heard of him. And how is the Giants' offensive line?
Terrible.
Okay, Jackson Dart is screwed because I know Russell Wilson is there as well. Russell Wilson's going to lose, half of the first 6 or 8 games of the season. No, do this for me, sir. Look up the Giants schedule, please.
All right, here we go. Week 1, they got the Commanders.
Loss.
Week 2, they have the Cowboys
Where are they?
in Dallas.
Loss.
They have the Chiefs at home,
Loss.
Chargers at home.
I will talk about how good I think the Chargers are going to be. That's a loss. They're 0-4.
Okay. They go to New Orleans to play off the Saints.
Win.
All right. Eagles come to New York.
Loss.
They go to Denver.
Loss.
They go back to Philadelphia.
Loss.
The 49ers come to New York.
Loss.
Giants go to the Bears.
Loss.
Packers come to New York.
When is their bye?
You got me. Oh, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Week 7 is their bye.
Okay, so go back to the top of their schedule and stop me at week 7.
All right. Commanders, Cowboys,
Loss.
Chiefs, Chargers,
Loss.
Giants, Eagles.
No, Saints.
Saints, Eagles.
Okay, so they are 1-5 going into their bye. Jackson Dart in that bye week will take over for Russell Wilson. Now give me the rest of their schedule. And this is where Jackson Dart's career is absolutely destroyed before it can even get started.
All right, they go to Denver.
Loss.
Then Philly. Then the Niners.
Loss.
Then the Bears. Packers.
Loss.
Lions.
Loss.
Patriots.
Loss.
Commanders.
Loss.
Vikings. Raiders. Cowboys.
They lose 2 out of those last 3. And Jackson Dart's confidence is destroyed.
I don't think he starts a game this year.
You think they're just going to let Wilson get his head beat in the entire season?
It's going to go. This is the order it's going to go. It's going to go Wilson. It's going to go Winston.
Tommy Cutlets?
No. It's going to go Winston, Jameis Winston, and then Tommy Cutlets.
So
I think Jackson Dart might seat the field by week 14, week 15.
Okay. The reason I don't think that's going to happen is this is the last contract year for the coach and the GM. And I don't think they give a rat's ass about ruining Jackson Dart if it means they can save their own skin. The next screwed quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, he's screwed. At some point, he is going to be counted on to come in and be the savior for the Browns, and nothing can save the Browns.
It's the Browns.
There is nothing. The Browns have nothing. They have nothing going on. They have nothing of value. Give me the best thing that Browns have going outside the fact that they got ransomed and held up and re-signed Myles Garrett.
Yeah, they got a good draft picks for Travis Hunter, and that's all I got to say about that.
There you go. Shedeur Sanders is screwed. The next doomed quarterback, Cam Ward. The Titans are terrible.
They're terrible, but we all know they were going to be terrible coming into this year. He's the number 1 overall pick. We're going to see how well he is.
What is the Titans' path to getting good enough in the next 2 to 3 years that Cam Ward isn't completely just wrecked?
You know, they're in the AFC South. It's not the toughest division. They can build up a little bit of an offensive line, get a weapon for him, and I think they can compete.
Well, no, listen to what you just said. They need to get a weapon for him, which means right now, how many do they have? Which also brings you to the fact that I think Will Levis could have a career in the NFL still. the management of that team, the fact that they let Mike Vrabel walk, given what he had to work with over the 10 years he coached that team, was insane. That tells me that front office doesn't know what the hell it's doing. And Cam Ward is screwed. Next on the doomed list of QBs, Justin Fields.
Justin, this is a do or die season for Justin Fields.
Oh, he's done. Tell me the great thing that you know about the Jets.
They're the cream slime. They will screw you over one way or another any chance they can.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
And then the two quarterbacks that are the most screwed are Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuff.
1 minute.
For
Oh,
the Saints.
yeah.
The Saints might not win a game.
That is the worst quarterback room. I think that might be one of the worst skill rooms in the NFL and might be the worst team going into next year.
No, I think the Saints will be the worst team in the NFL next season.
Well,
I
that's
think
not,
they might win 2 games.
that is
Which,
loud.
by the way, is the best thing that can happen to him. Which, if the Steelers were smart, they should have just run Mason Rudolph out there for the season, won 3 games, and then been at the top of the draft board for a quarterback. But nope, they're going to do just enough to suck just enough and win just enough to not help themselves and pay Aaron Rodgers $20 million. Dumbest thing ever.
All right, everyone. That's Loud Esmond's Picks. This is Hit the Pick. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure to go hitthepick.com for all our cappers' best bets.